inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell.
You have something special. You have greatness in you.
I didn't want to just be a bodybuilding champion. I wanted to be the best bodybuilder of all times. Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe after all. What is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules.
If anybody ever did it, then you can too. Stop making excuses. Stop complaining. Nobody's listening. They may pretend they're listening. The market doesn't care.
How do you implement change when you know it is needed?
When I know I need to change something, what I do is I change it. That's what I do. I change it.
Action, action. Everything's action. Make a choice, make a choice, make a choice. Move, go, go, go. Move. Always move. Create momentum. No matter how stuck you feel, just move. Don't sit still. I'm not saying don't grieve, don't be sad, don't feel. It's okay.
Don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. Don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it's the right thing to do, and success will come, so don't be afraid to fail. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this and you can't do that and it has never been done before? So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done.
Because you came here with something in you. You have a superpower. You have a story. You have a voice.
Don't count the cost of going forward. Count the cost of going back.
Every business, I have 5 companies now. We'll do 100 million this year. I started every one of those companies with no money. Zero money, man. Just hustle and grit and courage. I've called on people I didn't want to be with. I've done things I didn't want to do, okay? It is not about doing what you love. It's about doing whatever it takes to make your dreams a reality, to be closed and stay closed. If you're not closed on your product, if you're not buying your own product, why would you expect anybody else to?
If you got a good self-image, if you have your goals set in life, if you've got the right mental attitude, nobody has to tell you, go to work. That just follows naturally. So this is what we're going to work on, and you gotta have a desire to succeed. You can't just casually want the good things in life. It's got to become a passion for you. Your dream has got to be more than just an idle thought. You got to be willing to build a foundation under it, and that's for sure.
As great as you are, as skilled as you are, as talented as you are, I just want one thing from you. Never allow life to make you forget why you do what you do. People don't burn out, people don't quit, people don't underachieve, people don't settle because of what they do. People burn out, people quit, people underachieve, and people settle because life makes them forget why they do it. If we respect it the way we say we respect it, if we love it the way we say we love it, if we cherish it the way we say we cherish it, every single day should be nothing less than excellence. You might not always be your best, but you can always bring me your best.
You're what you are and where you are because of what's going into your mind. You can change what you are. You can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. Feed the positive and you will be positive.
I'm not counting the cost of how much it's going to take to move forward. I'm worried about how much it's going to cost to go backwards.
I don't think I knew it then, but I know it now. The best things in life takes time. When I was younger, I was impatient because I had the naivety of thinking that dreams would come quickly. But the best things in life take time.
We're waiting for that magical moment when fear disappears, when we finally feel qualified to pursue what matters most. But that moment, it doesn't exist. And that's what we're going to explore today. The beautiful, terrifying truth that the most meaningful accomplishments in life happen not because we were ready, but because we were willing to act before we felt ready.
And some of you have been asking, God, what am I supposed to do with my career? Get in 21 days of prayer and fasting and get God's view on it. Get up here and let God show you where you're supposed to be and what city you're supposed to be in and how you're supposed to do. Get God's view on it and then come down here with diligence. See, right here is where we try to forget what we saw.
So when those people say, what are you working out for? What are you getting in shape for? Why are you going every day? But to just know that you've taken care of yourself, to know that you've given yourself a chance to not only survive, but perform. You've given yourself a chance to perform at a high level on a day-to-day by taking care of your engine. This is my machine. So I'm taking care of the engine. Just like any car, oil changes, just like, your brakes, your tires, the rotors, all you taking care of that so that it's a great ride every time. You gotta do the same with your body.
To all of you watching here, come close to the screen and listen. People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, you better love what you see.
This is the most important and a crucial period of your lives.
There are things that you learn from struggling. There are things that you learn from tests and trials and trial and error. Some of my best teachers were failure. It takes time to do well. It takes even longer to be well. To everything there is a season and a time. To every purpose under heaven. To everything there is a season and a time. To every purpose under heaven. You got purpose, but do you understand season and time?
If you do the right things on the top line, the bottom line will follow. If you get the right strategy, if you have the right people, and if you have the right culture at your company, you'll do the right products, you'll do the right marketing, you'll do the right things logistically in manufacturing and distribution. And if you do all those things right, the bottom line will follow.
The clock strikes midnight. Another day ends. Another opportunity slips away. Tomorrow, you whisper to yourself. Tomorrow I'll be more prepared. Tomorrow the timing will be better. Tomorrow I'll feel ready. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And suddenly you're looking back at a collection of tomorrows that never arrived. The greatest tragedy in life isn't failure. It's delay. It's allowing the illusion of someday readiness to rob you of the only time you're guaranteed. Today, what if readiness isn't something that arrives like a package at your doorstep? What if it's something you build through action, not through waiting? What if the very concept of feeling ready is the most sophisticated form of self-deception we've ever created? The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is, are you willing?
Self-made millionaires look into every failure for something good. They say there's got to be something good in this that I can benefit from, and surprise, surprise, they always find it. Second is, self-made millionaires always seek the valuable lesson in every setback or obstacle or temporary failure, and they always find the lesson. Now, what do failures do? Failures whine and cry and think about what they've lost and blame their problems on someone else. Successful people say, what can I learn from this that will make me smarter next time? And my promise to you, those who seek find, is that if you go looking for a valuable lesson in the biggest problem that you're facing today, you'll always find the lesson.
Objectives and key results, or OKRs, are a simple goal-setting system. And they work for organizations, they work for teams, they even work for individuals. The objectives are what you want to have accomplished. The key results are how I'm going to get that done. Objectives, key results, what and how. But here's the truth. Many of us are setting goals wrong, and most of us are not setting goals at all. So how do you set these goals the right way?
Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have, as the basic principle, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. Once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well.
Making sure that our ego is not driving this decision, which you would be shocked and dismayed at the number of decisions that are driven by ego. Am I making this decision based on my ego? Am I imposing it as punishment, subconscious punishment on someone who questioned me?
If everyone is hurting you, if everyone's out to get you, if everyone's doing something to you, if everybody is slighting you, if this person and that person, how are you living a full life? If you're fighting everybody or pissed off at everybody because they disrespected you, they're not giving you what you need, they didn't validate this, validate that, how will you ever get anything done? How will you ever be instrumental? It doesn't mean you need to be a CEO or a Secret Service agent. It doesn't mean you need to be anything like that. It's whatever your journey is, like how will you ever achieve that if you're so easily distracted by all this nonsense? Who says you have to have respect by everybody? It's nice, I welcome it, but I'm not always going to get respect. I can sit and check every single box off. I'll be respectful to you, I'll be kind to you, I'll hand my things in on time, I'll show up on time, I'll do all these things, check all those boxes. There are still no guarantees you'll give it to me. I know, but we tell people you need this. Who says who? Who says I need everybody's respect? Who? And who am I to demand it? Who says I need everybody to like me?
Are you a kingdom without a king? Are you so busy managing your feelings and the feeling of the people around you and trying to make them feel what you feel and need what you need and want what you want that you're not making progress in life?
Trivial things weren't going to pull my attention. It had to be things that I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter.
Look upon that which you fear and grow, right? That's the definition of growth. That's how you learn. And you look at something poisonous and you get stronger and you ask why we have a challenge in front of it. It's like, we're here to become stronger. We're not here to be protected. And you get stronger in proportion to your willingness to look at what terrifies you.
Fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally.
No matter how blessed or successful you or I might be, there are moments in your life that you go through tests and trials just like anybody else. People don't understand that. With every blessing, there's always a battle.
Basketball for me was the most important thing. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player, everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
The world becomes your library to help you improve your craft.
Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots. And you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
There are a lot of sharks in the world. If you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them.
No matter how difficult life would be going forward, that everything would be okay.
So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks. And that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summons up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away.
Have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals.
You have control of this. This belongs to you. This is yours. You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody.
Some stuff takes time. Greatness takes time. It takes time. It takes time to build your brand. It takes time to build your life. It takes time to build your career. You got to be prepared to get 1,000 no's to get 1 yes. The thing you need to win is resilience. You can't just keep trying different stuff, because you can never say something didn't work when you didn't have tried. Be resilient. Stick it out. Winter, spring, summer, fall, resilient.
Whenever you feel sad or mad or nervous or out of control, write down what you're thinking and then ask yourself, is it true? Is it absolutely true? How do I feel when I have this thought? How do I act when I have this thought? And what's the outcome of the thought? How would I feel if I didn't have the thought? How would I act if I didn't have the thought? What's the outcome of not having that thought? And then my favorite part of it is take the original thought.
So at 13 years old, I had a I had a kill list. This is gonna be fun. Got it.
And then turn it to the opposite, and it does listen to you. And then just ask yourself whether or not that's true. And by directing my thoughts, by managing, so rather than being a victim, so many of my patients are victims of their thoughts until they do the work.
Gratitude erases negativity. If you wake up in the morning, you start having negative thoughts. Man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping. I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop. Just stop for a second and start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want, everything you already have.
If you're having problems, sure, say good. That's perfect. But then don't ask yourself, why me? Instead, ask yourself, now what am I going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Ask yourself that question. And then figure it out. Figure out what you're going to do. Say to yourself, I am going to detach. I am going to assess the situation. I am going to come up with a plan and I am going to execute. And then start moving. It's not going to be a perfect plan, but take action. Action that moves you in a positive direction.
This is not the time to lose your head. This is not the time to lose your head.
Life is hard. See, for every time you have a plan, a dream, an aspiration, or a goal, do you know what happens every time you have one of those? This thing comes along called life. It happens to everybody. Life has disappointment. It got peaks and valleys.
My definition of spring, opportunity. Spring is not a guarantee that you're going to have a harvest, but it's the opportunity to plant one. It's not a guarantee that things are going to go well and you will accumulate what you need, but it is an opportunity to do so. Springtime is opportunity. So here's what you must do with opportunity. Seize it quickly. Don't let it just come and go. If you wait a little too long, the window closes, and it takes a while for it to open back up. So this is the key. Take advantage of the spring, such a short season.
You have to be able to find. You have to be able to find that the path that you're on, even though it's challenging, even though there's suffering, that's the happiness too. And the sacrifice part is putting others above yourself.
And stop thinking of how to make $1 million. Just go make $10 and do everything 10 times as hard. Now, it's gonna be hard. Understand that. It's gonna be very hard. But start.
Were you always competitive from the day you were born? You were super competitive? So many different things brain can get distracted on, and I'm gonna put focus on this and focus on this and focus on this. Do you think one of the edge you had over everybody else was the biggest percentage of your focus was on one thing?
This is about you, whatever industry you're in, however much money you're trying to make. Like whatever you're trying to do, I want you to put some energy on that. Put some energy on your goals.
I love life. And if at any point I forgot why I fight, and I forgot what right was, and I forgot what humanity is, I'm done.
You have nothing to lose. But you got everything to lose if you don't go up and shoot your shot. You see an opportunity, you deserve it.
If you are not paying attention, if you are on cruise control, then your mind is not under your own control. We can't be in cruise control. You can't let your mind be in cruise control. You have to be cognizant of what you're thinking. You have to be cognizant, you have to be aware of how you are being influenced. Because in this day and age, right now, if you aren't careful, you can slide down the path of least resistance, the path to weakness.
We all live inside a bubble, right? What you gotta do to get the life that God wants you to have, you gotta put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful.
You have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff. Right. It doesn't necessarily give you happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff. Challenge their own story, because people torment themselves by how they see their life. They've told themselves a story as if it were the truth when it is really a perspective truth.
From this day forward, I don't want you to play the blame game. From this day forward, I don't want you to put your wife's life in nobody else's hands. I don't want you to put your kids in nobody else's hands. I don't want you to put your challenge in nobody else's hands. We can do all things. I can do all things. Life is miserable for you right now because you are a leader and you're not leading.
Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you. But your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here.
Challenge your own story. Change the way you talk to yourself about who you are and what happened to you and what you're going to do in your life. You wrote the script. Change the story. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. A lot of us delay our happiness. When I get to this level, when I get my degree, when I get the kids, when I get married, I'm going to be happy. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the whole step, the whole process. Every day that you get up to strive for whatever it is you're after. You know, I'm a goal-oriented guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't celebrate when you get to the finish line. Celebrate all along the way.
Let me give you this principle real quick. Selflessness is the most underused tool for stress management. Selflessness. I don't mean thinking less of yourself. I mean thinking of yourself less. Selflessness is the most underutilized tool for stress management. Being at the center is keeping you stressed.
I want you to fail, and I want you to get up and do it again. The same thing in life is the same thing here. If you can do this, you can do anything. Anything. Right now, you're 5% away. 5% away from being a champion.
If you reach your goal, you satiate the system and the motivational framework disappears. Right? So that means there's no direction and there's no hope. That's the problem. It's weird because you've attained your goal, but now you're directionless and technically you're hopeless because hope comes in consequence of positive emotion in relationship to a goal.
When others judge you, keep working hard. While they make fun of you, put in even more effort. When they're sleeping, you should be studying. When they talk badly about you, keep on working. In a few years, they'll compare their lives to yours and realize you're miles ahead. Focus on yourself because there's always going to be noise and people trying to bring you down. Ignore the haters and let your success speak for itself. The best way to silence them is through your actions and achievements.
People want to know where I find my strength at, where I get my strength. I get it from a lot of places, but right now, this morning, I'm getting it from, there's not a that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting after it every daggone day. Stay hard.
People ask me all the time, they say to me, what is the secret to success? The first truth is trust yourself. But what is most important is that you have to dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. And I'm talking about not what your parents and teachers want you to be, but you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it may sound to the people.
I think the things you go through make you who you are. And in my journey, like, there's certain things that I'm not really, I don't even let it into my system like that. I think depression's a luxury. Because where I'm from, you can't afford to be depressed. You got to pay the bill, right?
Right.
So you gotta go to work. You gotta get up. You gotta go do what you gotta do. They got people right now that's at work don't feel like being there, but they got responsibilities, so they feel uncomfortable while they're working, while they're doing what they gotta do. When these guys get in a slump and they just decide that they're not gonna do anything, I'm like, where they do that?
It's the unseen work. Like, I'm out running at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the gym, long sessions by myself. That's real. How I'm able to just extract dopamine, the good dopamine whenever I want. Man, I've trained 99% of my life alone. No one pat me on the back. I did all of the work alone. And while I'm still hard on myself, I know what I did.
The biggest mistake any ever make is getting too comfortable, kicking their feet up, taking that victory lap. Cause you ain't never safe. Somebody always out there, watching. And by the time you see him, it's already too late.
The most dangerous people to be with are powerful people without principles. There are politicians who got power with no principles. You know, I prefer to have someone with principles and no power than to have them with power and no principles. Why? Because they use the power to kill you. People on your job who have position and they got power, connections, but they ain't got no principles. So they will eat you alive. They will fire you. They'll destroy you. They'll do all kinds of undercurrent work to undercut you. When you finish, you're out of a job. And they'll laugh at you on your way out. No principle.
first question is, what is the result? What do I want? What is the outcome? Those are all words for the same thing. The reason we call it RPM, by the way, is it's what's the result, what's the purpose, and what's my MAP or massive action plan?
I'm giving y'all cheat codes right now. And some of y'all are sitting there like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Write it down!
My best words is dedication and hard work. To achieve this kind of things, you need to work hard and, be a great professional, be serious in your job. And this is what I try to do. To be here for 8th time, I think is not by coincidence. It's because, we all have talent, but the talent without the work, it's nothing.
If you're smart, you better learn to be humble, and you better learn to be grateful for the fact that you've been gifted, and you better take that on as a serious responsibility, like a serious moral responsibility. Because if you don't, it will work against you. And if you're super smart and your intellect is working against you, you are in serious trouble.
Your passion is for you, and your purpose is for others. When you use your passion in the service of others, it becomes a purpose. That's how the two connect. Your passion makes you happy. Your purpose will make others happy when you use your passion for them.
When you work for others, you are at their mercy. They own your work. They own you. Your creative spirit is squashed. What keeps you in such positions is a fear of having to sink or swim on your own. Instead, you should have a greater fear of what will happen to you if you remain dependent on others for power.
If you can hunger to grow more, to be more, to give more, to do more, to share more, to become more, then you're never going to be bored, and you're always going to grow, and you're going to have fulfillment, and you're going to succeed. Hunger will make you expand, but in order to be hungry, you got to have something you want more than just yourself. You got to want to have something to give to your kids or to your husband or wife or to your community or to humanity, not virtue signaling what you tell people, what you do.
You're never going to get to where you want to get if you're always waiting for motivation.
We need to take a stand for our right to have hope. And we need to take a stand with every ounce of wit and courage we can muster. The question is, what are you willing to stand for?
We all have past versions of ourselves. Underneath all those outer yous is an inner you. That's who you really are down deep. The ultimate version of you. The one where you feel the most confident and secure, where you're fully present and focused. That version only comes out with people you're comfortable with and who appreciate the real you and love you for it.
Put your honor where your mouth is. When you give your word, keep it. Show up. Do the work. Get your hands dirty. And then you'll begin to draw strength from the understanding, the true knowing that history is still being written. You're writing it every day. The wheel's still in spin, and what you do or what you don't do will be a part of it.
You have to take chances in life. If you don't take chances in life, you'll never have the life God has for you.
Even people who seem to be happy have problems and they have worries. Who very often felt they wish they could quit being a superhero.
Time is your greatest enemy.
Trust your instincts. Don't think, just do. Here's the problem with the philosophy of demand. You can't get rich. If people only understood that you cannot get rich by demand. Now someone says, well, in America, how could you become wealthy? And the answer is to develop a new philosophy. It's called the philosophy of performance. I will perform so well, it would be embarrassing for the company not to pay me for $6. Then I would perform so well, it would be embarrassing for the company not to pay me $8 an hour, $10 an hour, $20 an hour. So now we've got several philosophies going, and if you want to change your economic future, it starts with your personal philosophy.
It's great power. Comes great responsibility.
And as long as there are those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be. They will resist.
Yep, we're all kinds of stubborn.
I'm thankful.
Your life is not your life. The life you experience is the life you focus on. If you're focused on what's screwed up in your life, you have a screwed up life. If you focus on stuff that you're grateful for, you have an extraordinary life. What's wrong is always available. You can always find what's wrong. So is what's right. So it's a matter of focus. Because whatever you focus on, it'll be real to you, even if it's not real.
The hardest choices require the strongest will.
Take the biggest risks of your entire life right now. Remember, you have time. I want you to start to create this mindset of taking risks and going big. Because the only constant in your life for the rest of your life is change.
Listen to me, I'm not playing. I'm here to shame you. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. I don't even want to go there. I'm here to shame you. And I'm here to shame you, not because I want to hurt your feelings, but I'm hoping to pull something out of you that's already in you, but you just haven't pulled it out yet.
The first way for you to make magic, you make something appear. And what you need to make appear is you. I'm not talking about showing up, but making the best version of you appear. Believe you can be that person, become that version of yourself.
Pay attention to your triggers. Triggers are the most powerful internal compasses we have. When stuff bothers you, when you get triggered, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in society, culture, that is your first indication that something is unresolved or unhealed. Because when it is resolved, in my experience, it doesn't trigger you that way. You pay attention to it, you notice it, but it doesn't dysregulate you. So the first most important thing is don't avoid your triggers. Engage with them. Turn into them. Look at them. Embrace them. Because that is where all the information is. And nobody can heal that for you. Nobody. Look at your triggers. Love them. Because they are pointing you in the direction of your wholeness and your healing.
Most people have no goals. As soon as they have goals, they start to move forward. And here's the keys to setting goals. First of all, write them down. A goal that's not written is just a fantasy. A goal, a real goal, is a dream with a deadline. So take the goal and write it down. And then set a deadline for the goal. And when do you want to accomplish it? And then make a plan to accomplish it. Write down everything you can think of that you'll have to do to get the goal.
And you got to get after that, man. You got to go and get at that. If you don't do it, life becomes real normal and real mediocre to you. If normal is getting on your nerves, then you got to change something.
If I want to truly help you build your confidence, rather than merely readjusting the words you say about yourself, which would be something like self-esteem, which is something that doesn't even exist, by the way. It's just a pathological concept altogether. You want confidence, okay? More to the point, you want the confidence that's based in competence. Otherwise, it's narcissistic. Okay, so how do you develop that? You watch yourself exceed your limits. And then you think, oh, look at that. There's something in me that can exceed my limits. That's your true self. That's a good way of thinking about it.
To win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful. To be happy, you got to have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am and understand the benefits and the privileges I have from being who I am. You know?
If you're really frustrated or sad or worried or depressed, or you think something horrible's happened, my favorite question to ask myself is, what else could this mean? And I make myself come up with at least 3 different meanings. Because what happens is beliefs become self-fulfilling. See, once you believe something, you don't see anything else. I've done this with your audience before. I said, look around the room and find brown. Everybody looks around. And I say, now with your eyes closed, tell me you saw that was red. And nobody sees much red. And I say, open your eyes, look for red. And they find more red. Why do you find more red? Because you get what you look for. Your beliefs condition you to find. And then I say, how many saw I said, you even saw things that weren't there. How many saw beige stuff, called it brown just to feel successful? And the reason is because once we're after something, we'll even make the color different to feel successful. If you think somebody's mean, you'll find meanness in them if it's not there. If you think somebody's your dear friend and they do something terrible, you'll say, oh, they're having a bad day. So our beliefs control us. So unquestioned beliefs that produce stress, those are the ones you've got to question.
And that's fine. You know, that hurts. We get that. But in my opinion, a lot of times the pain that we feel isn't based on the reality. It's based on the fantasy. So you're feeling pain of losing something that wasn't real.
But once we understood seasons, we knew if you do the right thing at the wrong time, there is zero reward. But if you do the right thing at the right time, the rewards are immense. So if you plant in the winter, I don't care how hard you work, or the summer, you get nothing. It's like recognizing the seasons changed humanity. Well, there's a season in your own life.
What kind of life do you actually want to live? Part of that life you want to live is what do you want to do for a living? Like, what do you want for a job? Because you need to have some kind of a income. You need to produce and add value to the world in order to be able to eat, right? And now, unless you say, hey, my path is to live off the land and I'm going to go into the bush and I'm just going to live off the land. Hey, if that's what your goal is, cool, then you can do that. But anything kind of like any other mode of living, you need some kind of income, right?
Whenever I see somebody goes, let's have some fun, I say, well, what shall we do? And I listen to their suggestions. It's always asinine. It's never let's build an empire. It's never let's resist enslavement. It's never let's make a bunch of money. It's never let's get another passport or another residency or set up another shell company or set up a trust. It's never let's read the law to make sure that we can defend ourselves in court. There's nothing that matters.
There's nothing that you can't do. Never say you can't do it. Say I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. And that's true with everything. It's like there's nothing that you can't do. You may not have done it yet. You don't know if you can do it or not until you really practice, and then you find out if you can do it or not, or how well you can do it.
I never met anybody who could set a very clear goal for themselves and make a plan and work on it and keep on working on it who didn't eventually achieve their goal. In fact, if you think about your whole life, there wasn't anything that you ever wanted long enough and hard enough that you didn't eventually get. You always get what you want long enough and hard enough. So what we do is set our sights high. Number 3 is accept complete responsibility for yourself and everything that happens to you. I used to be asked on radio and television, why are some people more successful than others? And I used to think it was goals, was the starting point. But you know what the real starting point is? To accept that if it's to be, it's up to me. Is that nobody's going to do it for me. You know, they say that the mark of maturity is when you finally realize that no one is coming to the rescue. No one's coming to the rescue.
You don't need fun. You need purpose. You need a mission. You need something larger than yourself to live for. You're just some empty vessel with no soul and no spirit trying to attract dopamine from the asinine, put it into your blood, and just be a fucking inept idiot.
Most important thing, number one, is you got to get rid of doubt. If you got doubt in what you're doing, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And the way to do that is you have a plan. Because if you got a plan, it's not like just a pipe dream. You have a step-by-step list of things to do to get to your goal. If you don't have that, it's very hard to really have faith in what you're doing. Because as soon as something pop up, it's going to look like the end all. But if you got a game plan of everything you need to do, you know, one thing pop up, well, I still got to do this, and that, so all this ain't going to stop. You know what I'm saying? Another thing pop up, well, shit, accomplish this 2 things. Since my last obstacle, I only got 3 more things to do. Let me keep pushing, fuck it. Pretty soon you attain your goal, and then you create another one. But without a game plan and without a strong sense of faith in what you're doing, it's gonna be real hard to accomplish anything.
A survivor forever. I will never stop. Until God take me up off of this, I'm gonna always move forward. I will always be here. Until somebody take me off this planet, I'm gonna always move forward. I ain't no quitter. Can't nobody stop me.
It's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going.
Move on, brother. Get after it. Work out. Train hard. Go to jiu-jitsu, hike, run, play guitar. Just get after it. And those things, not only are they going to distract you from the pain, which is good, they're going to improve you as a human being, which is good, and they're going to rebuild your confidence, which is good. They're going to make you feel good. They're going to make you stronger and smarter and better and put you into a place where you don't need that little made-up fantasy anymore. And they're going to put you in a place where you're going to find something better than the fantasy.
You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Now think about that. If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it. You've got to understand that you've already got it. Start dealing with the non-physical world, with the invisible world, with the world that you can't see through these little peepers that you've got here we call eyes. Start to see yourself mentally. You've been given the faculties to do that. Use your imagination. See yourself already in possession of the good you desire. That will flip your mind onto a specific frequency. And you do think on frequencies. It's on that frequency that good you desire is going to start coming toward you, and you will start moving toward it.
Wake up. We have a moral burden to bear, and that's the adventure of our life. You might say, well, it's the adventure of your life that justifies the catastrophe of your life. It's not some simple-minded, juvenile hedonism or desire for comfort. That's not what we're built for. We're built for the adventure of our lives. And where do you find that? You find that in orienting yourself to the highest possible good in all ways and speaking the truth forthrightly along that pathway.
I'm obsessed being the best version of myself and realizing that that is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like giving your best is enough.
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures.
I believe, and I learned very young, that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. Yeah. And you do that every single day.
And soon you have a wall.
And soon you have a wall.
Yeah.
And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is. The task is never huge to me. It's always one brick.
Me too.
Being honest with where you stand and how you feel, it's really giving another person an option and opportunity to be as honest with you. Mm-hmm. And whatever your fear of that is, of that outcome, is never really as big as what you make it up to be. You know, it's really not that. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. But time will move on. You know, you will move past it. And if tomorrow never comes, at least you can know that you said what you needed to say.
Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Say in yourself that no matter what life throws at me, it'll never stop me. No matter how rough it gets, I will never quit. And nothing will ever stop me. Make the decision that you can be tired, you can be worn out, but nothing is ever going to stop you. That's a wonderful decision. Because then no matter what life throws at you, you pick yourself up. And you say, okay, give it your best shot, as Fonzie says. Nothing is going to stop you. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It's the basis of self-esteem.